I do want to know as well for that whole thing. Did he try rejoining the session? Because if he didn't, then he might not even. If he does get points for being classified, at least he might not even get points because of that. Then
That's
for
not the
not
most
trying to
important thing
rejoin.
right now. The most important thing right now is the Thunder from Down Under, Nightowl, the Australian, gained the Tier 2 championship.
Yeah. Well, Night Owl, make sure your audio is included.
It is. It's already
Well,
included.
this is what you wanted, and you got it.
Yeah, finally.
Congratulations, for
Thank you.
one. But for two, how does it feel to call yourself the RPL champion, let alone the season 16 Tier 2 champion?
Alright, I guess, really. Just name, just something to call me, really. Yeah, that's pretty much it, really. I'm happy to win it, yeah. Pretty much, yeah. Sorry.
Well, you also become the first Australian to win the RPL title as well. How does that feel?
Elimination proud. Did what Danny Rick never could. But history, though, you can win the championship. If I can win it, you can definitely win it.
I mean, as a lifelong
Yeah.
Daddy Rick fan, I take a lot of offense to what you just said, but fair enough.
Nah, mid-driver.
Mm,
I like Danny Rick, but I mean, to each their own, right? However, yeah, tell me about this race first off. Top step of the podium. Just had to stay within Lyra Fusion's 10-second gap. Couldn't make a mistake. Had to hold off Penguin. I mean, what were you thinking throughout this race anyway? You kind of knew with Penguin, he was your only hope to try and, well, I should say he was the only driver who could dismantle you for the title still, with Reece not being here. And of course, we know what happened. But also, there were still constructors in the line for Ferrari. What were you thinking with today's race and everything that had happened?
With Reece not showing up, I knew Penguin was going to try and just try and get some good points for the constructors with him beat Nick. I thought he was going to do more to try to hold me up, if that makes sense. But he was clean the whole race. It was all good battles. So yeah, knew the strategy for me was the same as last season, pretty much do 22 laps on hards and finish strong on the mediums. Then Laurel was just too quick today, but lucky for me, he got a 10-second for speeding in the pit lane, which is unfortunate because the boards that tell you where to slow down or where the meter board, where the pit lane brake is, someone destroyed them. I nearly sped as well, so whoever destroyed it, fuck you. So yeah.
Well,
happy to get another win though, at least.
yeah, it's your 4th win of the season, 6th Tier 2 win. I mean, tell me about your time here, because you started off in F2, got that win on debut weekend, and then we know how it went from then. You got a Tier 2 podium on your debut in that Aston, and you've never looked back since. Tell me about your time here and how much you've liked it or maybe not liked it. I don't know. I mean, you tell me. You won the championship now, so you gotta like it.
I've hated this league with all my heart, bro. I fucking hate this shit. Nah, I'm joking. This has been one of my favourite leagues I've done recently. It's just really interesting to race it every week, because realistic cars, you have your strengths and weaknesses really with what car you got, what tracks they're good at. So yeah, it was something really different to what I usually do for league racing, because I'm usually doing equal. So yeah, it was nice to do something for a change, and then this whole community of a league, everyone's been really nice, really. Com's been chill, driver's been chill, not really been any big controversies apart from doggy, but yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I have to ask, this season, your battles with Reece, your battles with Penguin, Mintoki, Fusion, Shorts. Who was your favorite driver to race, and what was your favorite battle this season?
Probably the whole of Silverstone, as a race, would be my favourite, where it's the whole top 5 going out the whole race. I enjoy racing. It's hard to say who I like racing the most. It's either Mintoki, Reece, or Penguin or Laurel. Pretty much that whole Silverstone race. All clean drivers, all good, all have respect for each other. So yeah, probably the battle in Silverstone was my favourite this whole season.
Did you have a favorite race this season? Was it Silverstone?
Probably Zandvoort or Silverstone. I've had to pick one.
And what
was
would
just
you say?
chaotic.
Yeah. And what would you say was your worst race this season? We know you weren't on the podium there in Portimao, and
I was going to
I
say
think it was your
Portugal because
only
I got a
race not on
silly
the podium.
3 second.
Yeah.
This the Ferrari and those. It started raining as well. We were like stuck on slicks for like 10 laps in the rain, and that Ferrari in the rain is really good in my opinion for me.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think Polish is just disconnected by the way.
Yeah, he had to go. I was about to ask
Okay.
if he had any questions before he had to go, but regardless, I do want to ask you about, not being on the podium in Portimao and what you thought the season was going to be like from that point onwards. Did you think it was going to be a tougher battle? Reece won the opening race. It was mainly you and Reece this entire season. What did you think it was going to be at the start?
More competitive, more drivers at the front. Yeah, more people were going to be in it. It wasn't going to be a George domination like it was in the previous 2 seasons where I raced. They knew anyone could really win the title if they were in the good situations at the right times. So yeah, it all started from Japan really. Just went on a good streak, and Reece got unfortunate in some races, getting penalties from speeding the pit lane, strategy calls. But yeah, and Mintoki as well getting unlucky, getting taken out in Zandvoort by shorts. Yeah.
Well, I must ask as well about the constructor situation. It seems like Ferrari winning the Drivers' Championship is the first Drivers' Champion from Ferrari since J&T did it in Season 12. I have to ask your situation for the constructors. We might get two different champions here. Red Bull have had a more of a stable lineup this season. Lennon, he's been here quite a bit, but he has missed quite a few races compared
He's
to
been
what
really
Red Bull
unlucky
have
as well
had
this
happen to
season.
them. And he has been, he has been on the misfortune, almost similar to the amount Reece has been as well. And sometimes some would say you make your own luck. But I would definitely like to ask you, of course, today you're going to race for the sense of just keeping a cool head and winning the Drivers' Championship still, but not giving Penguin a reason to still continue in this fight for it. However, you're also still going to race for the sake of the constructors and make sure Red Bull don't outscore Ferrari. And of course, you're only one driver. You can do all you can, but I guess what would you have to say about the season for the sake of the constructors? Because it does seem like after today, you guys are not mathematically eliminated, but based on statistics, you guys are going to need basically a 1-2 or a 1-3 in Saudi to even
Jeddah
win
to
it
go
with Red Bull none.
We need them to both like DNF or something. With Reece and Penguin, two consistent and fast drivers, it's probably not going to happen, but it's Jeddah. Anything could happen around there in the streets. Turn 4 could kill both of them. You never know. Yeah.
And what do you think will happen in Jeddah with the circumstance? Yeah, you're saying?
Yeah, constructors is going to be pretty tough for us to win because Lennon's not racing again next week, missing that round unfortunately as well. So let's hope we find someone quick to put in the other Ferrari car. Maybe get Oliver Behrman back for Jeddah. But yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess Saudi coming up. What do you think will happen for the constructors scenario and
Red Bull easy?
Whatnot?
Red Bull win. Red Bull will win. Probably. All I can to try and overthrow them, but it's going to be really hard.
I mean, Ferrari, you've kind of been on the back foot for this constructor situation. Do you feel like besides the Drivers' Championship at stake, you've had to drive any different because of that?
No. I've just been going all out I can all race, trying to just score the max points I can. And that helps
in terms of
as well.
Yeah. In terms of your wins, you've had 6 of them in Tier 2 now, and have been the driver to be. A lot of the topic this season was about moving drivers up, moving drivers down, potentially a lot of that, I guess, being at stake. I mean, you and Reece as teammates next season, is there anything you look forward to there if you both stay Tier 2?
Looking forward to having a proper teammate about like championship fight, hopefully, if 25. If I am quick on 25 days, because no one knows yet really. I could be getting whitewashed by him, you never know. They're just going to be a good fight, hopefully, and we should have a good chance at constructors as well. That's the next goal for me, win a constructors title. Got the drivers already. So yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, in terms of the Drivers' Championship last season, you said as well to me, you thought you actually had a chance at that if you weren't in the process of moving. Obviously, now this season you won it, but what made you think that last season besides the 2 wins you had? Obviously, I think last season you could probably agree on it being a little bit more competitive at certain stages for sure.
The tracks I missed last season, the Aston was quite good at, like Hungary, for example, and Austria as well. Aston Martin's quite good around there, and I'm quite good around Hungary and Austria as well in general. So yeah, I think I could have challenged for it last season. I didn't have to move, but you never know really. You can't be really saying, "Oh, I would have won." Definitely. But yeah, we never know really for sure. I think I could have challenged George, but winning it would have been tough.
And obviously, statistics are statistics. Stats are stats. Whatever you want to say. Records are there meant to be broken. Well, it has to be mentioned that you got a win on your F2 debut weekend. You got a podium on your Tier 2 debut weekend. In your first full season of Tier 2, obviously last season you missed a lot of races. You win the championship this season. I guess, records, although they're meant there to be broken, what do you think about what kind of history, I guess, in your own sense, for you've made here? You definitely embark on what you've done for sure.
That's a good question. Yeah, F2 was a difficult one to try win at because I know a bunch of like the top drivers in that race all had quali bans, and I got quite fortunate to actually get pole in that race as well because I'm F2 cars. I love love them wet for some reason. F2, I'm just good there, and it was a wet quali and almost a wet full race. Yeah, then getting a podium debut was good as well for Aston. Imola as well with shit track limits, but yeah. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say.
Well, I was gonna say you also made your Tier 1 debut as well this
Oh, I fucking hated that
season,
race.
and I know that's why I want to mention it. You felt like you're not Tier 1, and obviously ABS is forced off there. You run ABS on, and line is really only assist. I'm pretty sure. I heard you run. You feel like you wouldn't be Tier 1 if somehow, yeah, if somehow you were to be moved up into Tier 1, based on the season, and maybe same with Reece. I guess my question would be, how do you think that's going to go for next game? Obviously, we've only seen bits and pieces of next game, but based on these circumstances and the way your Portimao race went.
Yeah, if they allowed ABS to be on for Tier 1, I actually would consider hope a full-time drive. The thing is, I already do a league on Saturdays as well, though, so it would clash. So I have to choose which one to do. If they don't allow ABS in Tier 1, I probably might just stick as go to reserve or something, and do the other Saturday league that I race in. We don't know what 25 is even going to be like as well. So I might not go up to Tier 1. Me and Reece might stay Tier 2. Someone else might go up to Tier 1. That's maybe on the next game. So that'd be
One more race still in Saudi. If you're not looking at the constructors necessarily, what are you looking at next week? Maybe ending off the season and game cycle on a bang by winning again?
Just hoping to get a podium, I think. That's what it's going to be for me. Get a podium,
well, that
should be a good final send off this game, man, for Ferrari and 24.
I also have to mention you have now 14 podiums. You could be getting a 15th next week, and that would get you equal with Hunted, who is top 10 on the podium amount for Tier 2. I guess my question here is, with what I said earlier about your F2 win on debut weekend, Tier 2 debut podium, and now championship, are you amazed with what you've done in such little time?
I'm happy with it, yeah. Because for me on this game, it's the quickest I've been. This is the quickest I've been compared to most others. My friends on the last game are quicker than me, but now I'm on their level on this 24 game. Which I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing to show. But yeah. Because everyone hates this game, and I'm the only one that seems to actually quite enjoy it. Yeah.
Last season, you were in Mercedes Academy and got the win for Aston Martin twice. Now you're in Ferrari Academy, got the podium. Got on the podium 8 of the 9 times this season. Got on the top step, though, 4 times. How happy are you to win the title for Invade and Ferrari?
Good. My goal was to win a title with Ferrari for this last game. So yeah, I'm happy that I've completed the goal for me. Shame we couldn't get the constructors as well. I know it's not officially over, but in my mind, if Reece and Penguin both show up for the next race, I think it will be confirmed over. If they both miss it, then anything can happen.
Yeah, I mean, especially with the current attendance for Tier 2, it definitely has been a shame.
Just get some of the Tier 1 drivers back in, make them start last.
Make them turn every assist on.
Yeah, make them drive in the chase cam.
Yeah. Give them a challenge. Well, I must also ask Jack and George, they're the owner and co-owner today. I know some drivers had some very interesting takes on it that were shared across different servers, and different opinions were given on it. Obviously, Jack and George, they're not going to be counted. They didn't race anybody terribly.
Yeah, they were fine with me.
But
Jack was. I didn't really see George much.
I know, but I was going to ask you, what did you think about all that? I mean, obviously they're not gonna go out of their way to affect anybody, but obviously there's people who don't like that, and you're the Tier 2 champion. You're the going to be the reigning champion for quite some time. So I must ask, how did you think of it all, especially with a championship on the line tonight?
Them racing didn't bother me really, because I knew they'd get DQ'd anyway for just racing in Tier 2. But the thing is, if they were in a car, say Ferrari or Red Bull, they probably would have easily won. But it gave them a challenge to do it and try doing a Williams or V car, whatever cars they had. I think it was those two. But yeah, they all race fairly and clean. Doesn't bother me. So, yeah, I don't care if they raced or not. I actually said to them, go up in when they asked.
Yeah. My next question comes from the constructor standpoint as well again, and I have to ask, when did you kind of mentally prepare yourself to understand we for Ferrari, your sake at least, might not win this constructors? Because not too long ago,
whatever the round before Imola was.
Spa, the gap went to 30 points after it was 20 at Silverstone.
After Spa, I realised we've got a small chance at winning constructors, because we both could have beaten both Red Bulls in Spa, and then made a mistake, which is just unfortunate for him. We just lost it over, I think he did in the end. Yeah. After Spa, when they outscored us a little bit, then we knew we could have outscored them more than what we did multiple times. But yeah, we just got unfortunate. Well, Lennon got more unfortunate than me, getting kicked out of the lobby a few times in Silverstone, not being able to race.
Yeah. Any thoughts, I would say, on how this season kind of changed for the driver's standpoint as well? Reece had some races that didn't go his way. You had races that went your way. Not necessarily a luck standpoint, but I mean,
Disconnect.
Yeah, well, I know, but I mean, you were able to still make the most of your situation in Miami, and you and Reece definitely got elbows out at times, kept it fair. Reece had the dominant win in Imola. You had your wins and advantage in terms of wins for the sake of the tiebreaker, if there were to be one. I guess my question is, how do you reflect back on that now that you've become the champion?
Quite good, because Reece proved what he could do when it's Dave. Like when he dominated in Imola. Yeah, I know even with the screen freeze as well. He just pretty much classed our weekend. I've never been really dominant in a whole race. I've had to fight for all the wins. The race where me and Reece actually properly pulled away from everyone was Miami, and we both didn't even end up winning that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Although
every race that I've won seems to be like less than a second on the run to the line or something.
Yeah. Including today.
That makes the race better in my opinion, though. I enjoy fights.
Yeah. Well, that's been this whole game, honestly, with how it's been a lot, though, too.
I
must ask as well, although Reece was your main rival, what would you have to say about TornPenguin? He's definitely found a lot of improvements as well, and he was barely in this fight for a very long time.
Yeah, he has a good chance of beating Reece in the standings now, getting P2. Because I think he jumps him now. I'm not sure though. Yeah, Penguin's been good to fight this season. I didn't have many fights with him last season. The one fight we did in Brazil ended a bit messy.
Yeah, that's true.
Nice.
The season that ended with a 1-2 with you both.
Yeah, so I enjoyed battling Penguin though from what I did. When I did fight him, like Zandvoort was a good fight with him.
Hmm.
So was today as well, actually.
I've got two more questions I must ask. What would you say your
Go on.
mentality in the races is? Because I spoke to, tier 3 potential champion soon, Mally41 last night. Just through Discord, and it I kind of got the sense of, now that he's been in a Williams and doing damage limitation in the championship, he simply sees it as, look, let the other drivers fight. It's tier 3. Chaos is going to happen. You take your point by the end of the race. You've had the gap for a while in the championship over Reece to where you could kind of do the same. You kind of knew in Imola it was damage limitation if you get beat. You just had to manage second, and you got that. So I guess my question is, what has been your mentality for these races? And even I would ask, what was your mentality last season when you were just mainly racing for race wins?
Yeah, just do what I can really, and just don't get any like penalties or warnings, or get into an instance that will give you damage. Just take it cautious really, and you can still push though as well. So like a bit of everything really. I didn't go flat out unless it was like the last few laps. Like to try and push where I went for moves and stuff.
And
yeah, it's been good.
We've seen a few things from F125 so far. Some say it might be similar to 23, but what do you think based on what you've heard and noticed so far? We might get reverse tracks,
Well, I've actually
old gen console,
so
there's a lot of
my opinion.
Yeah, so I would love to hear it.
For me, it feels like F1 22, 23 and 24 all had like a child, and that's what you get with F1 25 at the moment.
Interesting.
It just feels like a mix of everything. It's definitely an improvement over this game. And I played the beta last game, and the beta for this game was bloody horrible. So yeah, it's definitely an improvement, but the cars are around 1.5 to 2 seconds slower than what they are now from the beta, but that's probably going to change though.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't really say much just in the first beta.
You never
Second
know.
beta, we should know a lot more about how they handle.
Could change. Very well could change. And still 2 months till game release. Well, congratulations as a champion. You have any final thoughts?
Looking forward to next race and the whole next season with Ferrari and Reece on F1 25.
And best of luck in Saudi and
Thank you.
game. Congratulations on the win and the championship tonight.
Thank you.
Well, that'll conclude it, folks. We have one more race this weekend, and that will be tomorrow. Also, F1